Hello, good evening, welcome. I'm Zaza, the Inappropriate Quilter. Thanks everybody for joining me tonight. So who have we got joining us tonight? We've got Michelle's first, as usual. Michelle's always first. And Melanie's here. Hi, Melanie. Katie's here. Thanks for sending everybody over, Katie. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Terry. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Linda. Dawn's here with us tonight. Hi, Dawn. Joy Talita's in the house. Janet's here. Hi, Janet. Pat's here. Hi, Pat. You're all saying hello to each other. Danelle's here. Hi, Danelle. Jessica's here. Got to wade through you all speaking to each other in the chat. Hi, Agnes is here. Hi, Agnes. Tasha's in the house. Nancy's here. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Chris, Crady Crafts. Hi, I think that's everybody that's here just now. I don't think I've missed anybody. I hope I haven't missed anybody. If I have, I do apologise. That's Norman just back picking Christopher up from the station. Christopher missed his last train home, and the nearest one is about 20 minutes away. So we got on that one instead, and Norman picked him up at that station. The joys of adult children. It would be probably about £50 at this time of night to have got a taxi from that station back here. So what's that? $65, $70, something like that. Well, this chat is moving fast. Katie's asking if I got any new Lego. I did, Katie. Hi, Lisa. Lisa's in the house. I got... Wait a minute till I shut this door because I can hear them. So you can probably hear them. I got the flowers, Katie, and the trotting lantern, it's called. It's a Chinese-themed Chinese lantern because I love all the Chinese, Japanese, Oriental Lego. Hi, Brian. Welcome in tonight. The chat's going fast tonight. Hi, Candace. Welcome. So tonight, because I'm behind, there's a surprise, not. I'm going to try and catch up on my Spectacle. I think it's called Spectacle of Scraps. Yeah, Spectacle of Scraps by the debt-free Heather, the debt-free quilter. So I'm going to try and get month 3, get on with that tonight. And I'm just, some of these strips have creases in them, so I'm just going to try and give them a quick press. Get the creases out before I stitch them together. And in a second, I'll show you what I've got done already for month 1 and month 2. I'm sorry about that. I just dinged the camera with my hand when I went to pick up the iron. So you were bouncing up and down there, or I was bouncing up and down. But you can see how they're all folded, so I need to press these before I start stitching them together. So how is everybody tonight? Jessica's in a hotel recliner with the headset on. That sounds bliss. Boys are Heidi. That sounds fabulous, sitting in the back in a recliner. I fell asleep watching the TV earlier. And Norman was just going to leave me sleeping, and then he remembered I had my live. So it was just as well that he woke me up. I feel like a zombie. You know that way when you've been sleeping and you can't quite waken up? I've washed my face with cold water twice, and I still feel like I'm all that blinky, half asleep way. This one, see how that's rolled up. I would never have been able to get that to roll up if I'd wanted to. So I'm going to do strip sets. I've got some squares cut, and I'm going to do strip sets. Got a new fabric to add into the quilt tonight, this sort of peacock feather. That's the right way, like that. You can see it. Brian's feeling melancholic, thinking of the year coming to an end. But think of the possibilities that might happen in the year to come, Brian. It might be your year. A year of great things happening for you. I know what you mean, though. Sometimes you do feel a bit sad at the end of a year, especially depending on what's happened in that year. Sometimes you can have had a terrible year. Did everybody have a nice Christmas? Christmas can be hard too. Christmas can be really hard for people. Everybody assumes Christmas is a happy time, but it can be really difficult for people. So I'm going to do 2 strip sets, and then I'm going to stitch them, cut them up, and do 4 patches. And these are what are these? Sashing strips here. But I've cut these out of 108, so they're huge. Because it's still doubled over, it's massive. I cut these. So this is what I'm sewing tonight. The strip sets to make these bits. And I hope I covered up the measurements okay there. If not, Heather will be after me. Nikki enjoyed seeing her grandson. Melanie's cut most of the background for Song Sparrow. Laurie, Quilting in the Country, Laurie, is doing a sew-along of a quilt called Song Sparrow. It's lovely. It's got flowers in it and birds. It looks a bit like the flowers that Laurie Holt does. And Deb, the pug mama, I think, if I'm right, Laurie's so long starting later, but Deb's is starting first week in January. She's doing Winter Kisses, I think it's called, as a so long. That's a really nice quilt. So I'm not doing Song Sparrow, but I might do Winter Kisses. I have the pattern. So this is what I've done so far. This was the one that I did the applique blocks and things for. So that's what I've done so far. I don't know if you can, what you can see. I'm having to keep round it so I can see what you can see. And that's my borders. So it's quite nice because it's a medallion quilt, and I quite like medallion quilts. But it's a mystery sew-along, and I don't normally like mystery quilts, but because you're using your own fabric, and a lot of it's up to you how you do it, because the central panel, you could use blocks, you could use a quilt panel. I made a central block, so it's very much what you want to do with it. And I've got some of these blocks to be going in it as well, and these need a quick press. Got this one to sew. I'll probably sew that one first. You see some of them we have they've got little curled up edges, and I hate sewing when they're like that. If I'm clever, I'll remember to have these sort of directional prints the right way round when I stitch them. But who knows if I actually remember that or not? That could be anybody's guess. These ones I kind of really need to have the right way up. But again, we'll see if I achieve that or not. Get this on the wool mat. And we've got more people coming in. Yoga and quilts. And sorry, I always forget your name. Hi, Mary G. Hi, June. I don't think I've missed it. Hi, Sherry. See, don't think I missed anybody else. And there's Sherry coming in a bit. Lift this iron before I have a big scorch mark on my cutting mat. Oh, that was hot, that piece. It was really hot. Yeah, Sherry's doing Alice in Wonderland. And that starts in February. And Lisa's doing Dear Jane, a sampler quilt. But Alice in Wonderland's a nice quilt. I can show you that if I've got time later, because I've got the book here and I've got the kit for that one. I got that last year at Festival of Quilts. And to be honest, I was a bit not scared of doing it, but it just felt a bit daunting doing a quilt like that by myself. So I was quite pleased when Sherry said she was going to do it as a sew-along, because it's got foundation paper piecing in it, and that is not my friend. I just need to change the foot of my sewing machine. I think I need a new bobbin in it. Yes, I do, just as well. I checked that because it's got a blue bobbin. That would have been good. It probably would have been all right on those darker fabrics, but not ideal. Always check your bobbin. There we go. Laurie starts January the 5th on a Monday. I think that might be when Deb starts on January the 2nd on her Friday night. Thanks for that, Joy T. And I don't think I've missed anybody else. If I do apologise. What put me off Song Sparrow? It's Kathy. Sorry, Kathy. Yoga and Quilts. What puts me off Song Sparrow is it's a Beverly McCulloch pattern, and I did one of hers before, and I didn't like the way it was written. It didn't work for my brain. You know, some pattern writers, they just don't click with your brain, and it wasn't the way I would have done things. So I just found it really difficult to do, so that's what put me off doing Song Sparrow. So Kathy from Yoga and Quilts is planning to release her first video within the week, and she's going to be on The Guy Who Sews and on October live. She was obviously on with him in October on Sean's channel. Well, good luck with that, Kathy. We'll need to all go and have a look at Kathy's channel. Check her out. Nikki, I'd removed that from the stage. I don't know how I managed to do that. So you didn't need to look away. Is the sound back? I must have touched something, but the sound's back. I don't know why that went off. I don't know what I did. I think maybe when I moved it, I touched something. Technology is not my friend. There we go. What I am going to do before I forget is reduce my stitch length for this, because these have all to get cut. So normally I stitch with a 2.2, but with smaller pieces that are going to get cut, I prefer it to be at least a 2. I've got it to 1.8 just now, so that when I cut the pieces, hopefully they'll not all come apart. Seems to take forever to sew these. When I did the last lot of strips, they were only half strips to get more variation, which doesn't seem to take as long, but full width the fabric strips seem to take forever when you're stitching them. And you sort of have to pay attention that they are staying lined up. And then the last one. Because it's only 2 strips deep, there's not a huge amount of strips to sew. The earlier rounds there were 4 strips deep. So you were sewing 16 patches instead of 4 patches. And that seemed to take forever to sew them. Even doing strip sets. A lot of people did it just with random scraps. So they were actually sewing 16 patches. I don't really have the patience for that. I'm not the most patient of people. And it's hard to stitch and sew. Stitch and sew. Talk and stitch. Or talk and sew, not stitch and sew. It's hard to talk and sew. You're lucky that I've not got my tongue sticking out. That's my party trick normally when I'm concentrating. We're nearly there. Nearly, nearly, nearly. Sorry, just nudged the camera. It's on a kind of big sprung arm. That's why it bounces like that if you touch it. It's kind of like a bendy snake. So back again. What have I missed in the chat? Probably loads. I think Brenda's here. But which Brenda? Brenda Foley. Hi, Brenda. Kathy Has Faith has joined us. Hi, Kathy. How are you? I don't think I've missed. Oh, well, there's lots of planes and there's all the Star Wars stuff, if you like Star Wars, all those kind of jets and things. I'm sure there is a Lamborghini. There's quite a few sports cars, Nikki, that your grandson would probably like. There literally is a Lego set for everyone. So I've just got to press these now. And I'm going to finger press them first. I always prefer to finger press them. It just helps a bit. So I think I've asked you if everybody had a nice Christmas. So I was watching Amy, and I'm never sure if it's Dement, how she pronounces her surname. I was watching Amy yesterday, and she didn't ask me anything on her Vlogmas. And you had to have the questions in before the 22nd, so that obviously she could get her video done. But I thought that would be quite a good thing. Depending on what you ask me, I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to answer everything. But you could have done tonight. You could ask me anything if you've got any questions or anything you want to know. But as I say, no guarantees that I will, depending on what you ask, that I will answer. I'm sure he probably would. If he likes building models, then he probably would love Lego, Nikki. Which way did I press that one? Towards the green. And so I need to do this one towards the green. It was Donna Jordan I first saw finger pressing seams. And I didn't really like the way it felt under my finger to do it, but it does actually help get your seams to open up fully before you iron. It stops me getting less pleats in the seams. If there's finger pressed. It should turn you back round now. Here we go. There's no point in you watching a sewing machine that's not got anything happening at it. And the pressing mat helps. If you want really flat seams, you could use your clapper too. You could also use something like flatter, you know, the pens or the acorn pens. Hi, Arlie. Got a full house tonight. Everybody's here tonight. Judy Heber's here. Welcome, Judy. Tasha got 8 inches of snow. Oh, I would love that. I love snow. Maybe not if I got it all the time, but you hardly ever get snow. Oh, Nikki, that's not nice, going from in the 70s to the 30s in one day. Lisa was talking about the temperatures. Beside her doing the same tomorrow. No, if it's going to be cold, just be cold. I don't like it when it goes hot and cold and hot and cold. So I need to trim these up into 2.5-inch strips. I'm going to put these to the side just now. And I'm going to put my cutting mat down, lift the wool mat out of the way, and put my cutting mat down. Just the little one here, rather than move everything over to my cutting table. I'll just move it to here. And then we'll get these cut into 2.5-inch square strips. They are strips. Kathy says, our co-worker used to say, managers are like the weather. If you don't like the one you have today, just wait until tomorrow. They were always changing before our layoffs. Yeah, can you imagine a temperature quilt? Ryan's saying it would make a good temperature quilt. With changes like that in it, that would be incredible. It would help if I had... I've got a 2.5-inch ruler, so that makes things easy to cut my 2.5-inch strips. I'm going to move them back a bit. Having a 2.5-inch ruler, you don't have to think about it. Which is handy when I'm on a live. Because cutting on a live isn't easy. It's something that I normally try and avoid. If possible. But I think I can maybe just about manage 2.5-inch strips with a 2.5-inch ruler. And then I'll have little 4 patches like that. Not like that at all, because they'll need to go that way. It'll be a 4 patch like that. And how many 4 patches do I need? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1. They need to be 6, so that's going to confuse me. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I think that's 32 I need. We shall see. If I've got, no, I think there's a nick in this blade, you know, and it's just a new blade, so it's really annoying. Because it's always the same bit that it doesn't cut. And I think that's Norman getting ready to go to his bed after picking Christopher up. But he'll not come in because I'm on a live. He might stick his head round the door, but I'll probably need to do more strip sets, but I've got the extra 4.5-inch blocks, so I'm hoping I get away with that. Good night, Tasha, or good she's off to snuggle the kids and get them to bed. They're overtired. Yeah, I know that feeling. She's saying to everybody, stay safe in the snow. And of course, Tasha's husband has something to do with snow clearing machinery. I don't know if he repairs it or if he maintains it or if he drives it, but she basically doesn't see him in the winter when it's snowing, which isn't easy when you've got young kids. So nobody's got any questions for me then? Nothing that you want to know? That much of an open book, you know it all already. See, it's always, there's like just a little bit that it just, and it's not that it's on a seam, it just happens wherever. Just making sure this is square when I'm cutting it. It's not ideal because it's a padded surface, because the bit below the mat's actually a pressing surface that I sit my wool mat on. So it's a bit spongy. It's not too hard for cutting, but it does the job. Normally, I cut on a little table behind me, but that's not any good when I've got my sewing nest. I've got my ironing board at one side and my cutting at the other. But I'd have my back to you when I was doing this. And that's not very nice. So those ones done. Managed to catch that before it rolled off the table. So does anybody have any nice plans for New Year, going to any parties or anything? Edinburgh has a huge Hogmanay party, big street party. It's one of the biggest ones, it's quite famous, it's always on televised. And they have amazing fireworks that go off. And because Edinburgh's right opposite us on the River Forth, we go down the beach and watch the fireworks at midnight. And it's great. There's loads of people who do it, so it's actually quite busy down there. It's quite a nice atmosphere. It's like a little party. You always bump into people that you know. It's quite good fun. Might have been dog sitting, might still be dog sitting. For the small angry ones, aunt and uncle, because they had their dog sitting for that. Evie's boyfriend's aunt and uncle just now, and somebody else was supposed to be watching the dogs at New Year because they've got plans to go out. They've bought the tickets, and I don't know if the person's doing it or not. So I said we would do it, but we might not have to. We'll see. I don't mind. Be weird having different dogs in the house. Be weird having dogs back in the house, actually. Hi, Sheila. Sheila's joined us. How's Texas, Sheila? Oh, Brenda's going to an amusement park tomorrow. That sounds like fun, and there'll be fireworks. Kathy says New Year's Eve is our youngest son's last first holiday. Turns a year old in early January. Oh, that's cute. Like his daughter's birthday's New Year's Eve. That's nice. Well, I don't know. Well, New Year's Eve would be fine, especially when you're young, having parties. I would hate to have had a Christmas birthday. My friend's daughter had a Christmas birthday and people were miserable. They would give her joint presents, but they didn't spend twice as much and give her one present. They just spent what they would have spent at Christmas and said, that's your Christmas and your birthday. I always made a point of getting her two presents. I thought, how awful. You get your day, you don't get to get your birthday. You never get a birthday. As a kid, you'd never get a birthday party because people are always busy at Christmas, especially on Christmas Day. But even in the Christmas holidays, people are busy. But it was family members that were the worst for giving her joint presents. It's not like they haven't had all year to save up for it. Because it would get, oh, I can't afford to buy two presents. And you think, well, you've known for a year when our birthday was going to be. Bad enough with my son's birthday's in January, and I would get that, oh, it's just after Christmas. And I'm thinking, yeah, it might just be just after Christmas, but you've known all year when his birthday is. But it's funny how when you do the same to other people's children, they soon stop doing it to yours. There, got them all cut. So now I need to do the 4 patches. And hopefully I've pressed the seams the right way so that they nest. Yes, that's a relief. The seams will nest. I've got to pair them all up. Oh, hi, Joe. Didn't see you come in. Joe saying dive bars have great music. I don't know about that. I'm going to just stagger these about. This is going to take me ages to pair these all up. So did anybody get any nice sewing related gifts for Christmas? It feels weird that for so sort of long it was Christmas, 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 and now suddenly it's past. And that's it for another year. So as I said, did anybody get any nice sewing related presents? Hi Mona. Hi Jess. Judy's going to a party on New Year's Eve. Catch up on the chat. Brenda Foley's going to an amusement park. Kathy's saying there's questions for me higher up in the chat that I've missed because the chat moves quite fast. I've only got, my kids are, although they're adult kids, they're in their 20s. My daughter's 24, my son's 26. So I have no grandkids. My nephews and nieces are all grown up. I have great nephews and nieces, but they're granny sews. Norman's brothers, he's got two brothers and they've got grandchildren, but one of his sister-in-law sews. So I have not sewn baby things. I did make a nice hot air balloon for one of them, the great nieces and nephews, the Pay It Forward, you know, Lisa Pay. I did a hot air balloon musical mobile for one of them. Not convinced I did. Yes, I did swap that one. Which was quite nice, even if I do say so myself. It came out better than I thought it would, which is always a nice surprise. I am 100% Scottish, Nikki. Is that my two questions? Yep, that's two questions. 100% Scottish through and through. What are some adjustments I've made to sew more comfortably? I've got this. I don't know if you can see it if I move the camera around. It's a leather captain's chair, and it's got a nice, it's really well padded. It's meant as an office chair, and it's got a really well padded bottom, and the arms are low enough that they don't get in the way, and it's got a nice padded back. You can see that on the camera. I bought second hand off Facebook Marketplace, and that's been the best. I had an office chair before and it wasn't very comfortable, but this is comfy. I used to get a really sore back when I was sitting sewing, and it's made a huge difference. But these are expensive to buy new, so when I saw it come up on Facebook Marketplace, I snapped it up, and it was a bit wobbly, but thankfully I've got a handy husband and he fixed it. That's my main adjustment to sewing comfortably. Getting the right height. I watched Karen Brown had a really good video on the ergonomics of sewing. About having your sewing machine at the right height, your cutting table at the right height, even your foot pedal being at the right height. Because if you're sort of sitting in your foot's out, you know, if you're smaller especially, that you should have maybe a block or something under it to lift it up so that you're not sitting a really awkward way. I use the stop-start button on my sewing machine. I prefer that to chasing a foot pedal about. Partly because sometimes when I used to sew in the kitchen, the foot pedal, depending on if I was sewing at the kitchen counter, the cable for the foot pedal wasn't long enough, so I used the start-stop button instead. But she had a good tutorial about the right height that your machine should be, and it does make a huge difference. And a cutting table, my cutting table was the same height just as an ordinary kitchen table, and if I was doing any cutting for any length of time, my back and shoulders used to really get sore. And now I cut at a chest of drawers that when I stand up, it's at elbow height, so it's sort of, when I stand like that, it's like this height, and it's the perfect height for cutting, and I can cut for hours now without getting a sore back. So that's my biggest things, is it's not always possible, but small adjustments, you know, if you have to sit with a pile of books under your foot pedal, then put a pile of books under your foot pedal. It's better doing that than sitting and it hurts your back. Katie, I like that they had a half birthday in June instead of a Christmas birthday. And I said hi to Mona. I think I got that question, Joy T. You can let me know if I did or not. Jess is here and Mona, and I've said hello to both of them. And I've said to Nikki that I am a full-blooded Scot through and through. Well, as much as you can be a full-blooded anything, but yes, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents are all Scottish, going back a few. What am I making, Judy? Sorry, I'm doing Heather, the debt-free quilters. I've just had a brain fart, forgot the name of it. Spectacle of Scraps. So I'm on month 3, and I've got this is month 1 and 2. You'll probably have seen Donna, Handmade by Yings, and I don't know if you're doing it, Judy, because there's a group for it. And people have been posting theirs in the group. So that's mine there, month 1 and 2. And I'm doing month 3 of that. I'm behind because I've got month 3 and 4 to do. Month 5 will be out next weekend, but it's not a lot to do for month 3 or month 4. So hopefully I'll get them sewn pretty quickly. But it was an easy thing for me to sew on a live, because sewing and talking is not, like, paying attention to the chat and sewing is not easy. So, and is there any food you traditionally have? Do I prefer scrappy sewing? Jessica's saying, no, I do not. Scrappy sewing hurts my brain, Jessica. I am not a scrappy sewer at all. I can do this because I've picked the fabrics out and it's not true scrappy. I had a bundle of fabrics that I'd bought, but I'd only bought 1-yard cuts because I can't do true scrappy. That really messes with my brain. I like when I see other people's true scrappy quilts, but I can't do them myself. I just don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I find the whole process difficult. So I do not like doing scrappy quilts. Hi, Norma. So I've got all these to sew up. Now I need 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute, I'm trying to read this pattern. I need 8 6-patch blocks. So I'll need to do them first. So it'll be a 4-patch and then stick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this one's 8. Jo uses her stop button. Jo, I think you've got a Genome as well that you sew on. Hi, Ellen. Oh, Brian's going to go do, I think. Brian, go for it. Do a channel. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Thank you, Jess and Judy. Nikki's a bit of everything. She's English, Scottish, Irish, German, Choctaw. I don't know if I'm saying that right. The Choctaw tribe, the Cherokee tribe. But I mean, even Greek tribe. She has Amish and Mennonites in her tree too. Wow, that's quite the mix. That's what you want, though. Hi, Deb. Good to see you. You're less likely to have health problems if you've got a good mix in your blood. So, and I've got these blocks to get put in as well with the fabric. So I've got 6. What time is it? Oh, it's nearly time. I'm not going to start showing these tonight. It's nearly time to finish. I have got a couple of things to show you that I got for my Christmas. Not really sewing related, but sort of, because I have got loads of tins in my sewing room that I keep stuff in. And Norman and Evie know I like nice tins. And I got Evie nice biscuits. And they came in this tin. So she took the tin, she took the biscuits out the tin and gave me back the tin. But this one lights up. I've got quite a few that light up. They light up or they're musical. Wait a minute. Yeah, do you see the lights in it? It's got little pinholes in it. It lights up. I don't know if you can see that or not. I can see the lights. I don't think you can see the lights. See? It lights up. It's like little fairy lights round the window. You can see them on each level. So I got that one from Evie. And I've got a few houses, so that'll go nicely on my shelf with the houses. But Norman got me this, and I don't have a clock in my sewing room. And I really like it. It's a biscuit tin, it's got a working clock on the front, which I thought was quite cool. So once you've eaten the biscuits, you've got a clock. It's also a storage tin. So I quite like that. I think it's meant to be Big Ben, because it's got a beefeater climbing up to get an umbrella, and I think he's climbing up to get the cat, actually. There's a cat on it. But yeah, so it's got a working clock in the tin. So I got that. And poor Norman got me this one, which lights up and moves apparently. got to wind it up. But he dropped it getting out of the car, so he broke the plastic dome and just sellotaped it back together. He said, I thought, might as well give you the biscuits. But I said, I'll just put it on my shelf that way. So Santa's sleigh moves round the Christmas tree and the dome on the top. So I'll just put the cracked bit to the back of the shelf. But I thought, what a cute tin it was. And it's a musical one, and they move around. You turn the dome clockwise, holding the base of the tin. I'll need to take the stickers off to get it to work. Of course, my bin house dropped it, won't work. But he gave me it anyway, because he said it was, what else was he going to do with it? Because it was as he was getting out of the car that he dropped it. It says you move. There's a switch to switch it on and off. And I don't see the switch. What do you? There's lights. It's still got sellotape on it, that's why it's not moving. Well, that way. Oh, more sellotape. God, how much tape is on this tin? That's it now. I can't get it to, I don't know which way you wind it. Take that off. That's this bit you move just. A Mensa test for me. It's meant to be a snow globe. I'll probably tape it up and just put the broken bit to the back of the shelf. But that was my Christmas tin that he dropped, but it was quite cute. So that was as close to sewing things as I got. Oh, I got a mini sewing machine, but that's not brought that up yet. Bye, Sheila. Enjoy your movie. What are my favourite cookies? Favourite biscuits that I like are McVitie's chocolate digestive caramel biscuits, or you get the really nice, and I'm not sure what they're made of, but they're curls. You used to get them in ice cream, but you can get the packets and it's like a little tube of a sort of wafer type biscuit, and they're really nice. I quite like Biscoff biscuits. I like most biscuits, to be honest. So what's everybody else's favourite biscuits? Or cookies, as you call them? Because here, a cookie is something that's chewy and it doesn't snap. It kind of bends when you break it, and a biscuit snaps and is hard. And there's quite a distinction. Shortbread, I do like shortbread, Bahrain. I think that's genetic, though, that I like shortbread. Being Scottish. Meringue cookies. Oh, they sound good, Nikki. Yeah, those tubes that I was telling you about, they're kind of a bit like a sugar cookie mix. But I think digestive biscuits, I think, are a bit like graham crackers, but they have milk. You get them plain, but you get them with milk chocolate on them. And you also get ones with caramel, a layer of caramel, and then a layer of chocolate. but they're good. So that's just hit an hour now, so I'm going to head tonight and pick this up. Hopefully next week I'll have this done to show you. And we moved on to month 4. Russian cookies. We don't get many Russian biscuits here. Lots of Italian ones. Italian ones, though, are often taste marzipan-y, and I don't like marzipan flavour at all. Bit almondy. I like almonds, but I don't like almond biscuits. So yes, I'll hopefully have this finished for next week and moved on to something else. Russian tea cookies for Christmas. Oh, they sound nice. Yeah, I don't like marzipan at all, Nikki. Butterballs are good. Basically, if it's sweet, favourite biscuits are the ones you can dunk in your tea. A good cup of hot tea and a nice dunkable biscuit is what you really want. I think that's a very British thing, dunking your biscuits. So yes, I will be back next week. I'd like to thank you all for joining me tonight. And if you'd like to hit the thumbs up, I'd really appreciate that. And subscribe if you haven't already. If you don't want to, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that either. But I'll see you all next week. So I won't be on Wednesday, I don't think. And because if we're dog sitting, that's the day we'll be going to collect the dogs. So I'll see you all next Saturday. And have a lovely Happy New Year. Wishing you all the best for 2026. And I hope it's a good year for everybody. And a better year than 2025 was. So good night. And I'll see you all next year. Wow, that sounds weird, doesn't it? But yeah, it'll be next year when I see you all again. Good night.